All right, we're going to do a really quick little demo on how to do the 3D Paint tool in Maya. So instead of having to do Photoshop textures, um, I elected to do just a little bit of research into some other options. So that is the 3D Paint tool. So we've got a couple things that we got to do. It's actually really simple once we get it set up, but if you don't know how to set it up, that you might run into problems. First thing, you want to select your sub menu, which that's a little thing up here. It should say modeling by default. You want to click on that. You want to make sure that you're on rendering. And when you do that, it changes all of your top tabs. So instead of, edit mesh, mesh tools, mesh display, all that stuff, we get lighting, shading, texturing, rendering, tune, stereo, all that stuff. So what we want to do is we want to click on texturing. And right here where it says 3D Paint Tool, we want to make sure that we click on the little window icon that's in that line. Once we do that, we should get our little 3D Paint Tool window. Right. Now I want to select my object that I'm going to be painting before I do that, so that Maya knows that I'm trying to mess with that specifically. It is a little finicky, but you have to define these things. And the first thing that we want to do is we want to scroll all the way down where it says File Textures. And we want to click on where it says Assign/Edit Textures. And you should get this little menu pop up. Now, by default, I don't know what the value is on your size for your X and the Y, but you want to change that to at least 1024. I have mine on 2048. So that is considered like a 2K texture. The reason why we want that is because I just don't want any pixelation in the painting, and I just want to be able to paint my stuff on there and make it look really nice and not have to worry about it. Also, by default, the image format is set to Maya IFF. You want to change that to JPEG. And all the rest of the stuff, just don't worry about it. And then we're going to hit Assign/Edit Textures. All right, we should be able to paint on this now. So, at the very top, we've got brush settings. So the radius, that's how big the brush is. We've got Gaussian brush, which is soft. We've got soft brush, which is a little bit harder than Gaussian. And then we've got solid. All these things are pretty self-explanatory. I mean, experiment with them as much as you want to. Paint effects, if you want to mess with any of this stuff, all you have to do is click on Get Brush, and it'll bring up the content browser, and you can see what they have in there. If you ever lose yourself, you can always just click back on these artisan brushes, and it'll take you right back to where you were. So for color, that's pretty self-explanatory. That is just the color of the brush that you have selected. The way that Maya kind of works with the 3D Paint thing is that it kind of blends weird with the color that's already there, just because this isn't really a dedicated texturing program. This is just a cheap way to do just some quick and easy actual 3D painting. So you're gonna get some weird results maybe, but if you have not crazy saturated colors like I've got here, you won't have these weird artifacts where that soft blend turns into this weird blue color. That's not what we have going on. If you look directly underneath color, we've got flood. So if I click flood paint, it'll make the entire thing that color. So be careful if you're painting stuff, you accidentally hit flood paint. You just got to hit Control Z a couple of times, and it'll take you back to where you were. So you get that kind of thing. Paint operations, all this stuff is pretty self-explanatory. If you wanted to experiment, go for it. I mean, the worst that's going to happen is that you just need to erase everything and start from scratch. We've got today and tomorrow to be painting, and maybe a little bit on Thursday, but I do want to talk about the actual animation stuff on Thursday and how to get your ships ready for that and at least start animating by Thursday. So just keep that in mind. Whenever you're done with the texturing, make sure you hit Save Textures, and it should save a JPEG of your textures in a special folder. We will find the folder at a later point, but I just want to make sure that we have the textures saved, so we don't have to, if something catastrophic happens, we don't have to repaint any of our stuff. Okay, so go as little or as crazy as you want with the texture painting. If you want to just do basic colors, that's fine. But if you also want to sit and try to really do some like material rendering, like paint fake metal, or do some like fake painted on details that you didn't want to model, like panels or rivets in the ship, or like weld lines or something like that, you totally do that too. It's just how deep do you want to go with it. Oh, also, if I go to my object and I select specific faces, this is very useful. Let's say I just want to affect this like metal band that I have going around. All right, and if I go back to my 3D Paint tool, you'll notice that there's a orange line sort of outlining what I have here. That masks those faces only. So that's a really effective way to like be selective with what you're wanting to paint. I could also hit under flood. I can go to, instead of flood all, I can do flood selected faces. And then that gives me the option of just doing whole, whatchamacallit? Yeah, whole sections of this in one solid color. All right, so that might be a fun way of doing that for you. I don't know. You are going to get these sort of, whenever you use selected faces, you're going to get these like sort of pixelated, choppy edges. That's just the nature of the beast, okay? When you zoom out, you can't really even tell that it's there. So it's fine. We're not really grading ourselves on a high fidelity texturing. This is kind of a cheap and easy way to do texturing. So don't beat yourself up too much. Just make sure that the overall like value and color range that you have on your spaceship sort of not only makes sense for the ship itself, but also like think about the shapes. If you've got like a super aggressive looking spaceship, you're probably not going to want to paint it like a nice blue, cool, like soft color. You want to go for like red. You want to be aggressive with it. You want to be saturated. So kind of think about like the color language with the shape language, just so we can really maximize sort of the design aspect of what we're doing with this project. Okay. So we've come up with spaceship designs using shape language. We've now modeled them. We've unwrapped them. We're now coloring them and texturing them, and then we're going to animate them. That entire thing, that is the entire 3D pipeline. So whatever you guys have right now, good job so far. And I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with texturing. So go forth, do that. If you need help, let me know.